Hi everyone, I'm Lara and I'm a career coach. In today's video, we're going to go through how do you get that job when you have no experience or possibly you have a gap in your experience. So I'm going to take you through a few steps to help you bump up your resume and hopefully get that job. A lot of times people get discouraged and they think, well, I don't have what's listed on there, and how do I get that job when I don't have the specific skills that they're talking about? Well, you may actually do. I'm going to show you how you can really uncover those skills and include them in your resume. Trust me, I know it's hard when you feel like you have no experience or there's something missing to get you to that next job. You just need that little bit more time to get there. Well, let's go through some of the things that you can do with what you do have so that you can put your resume at its best and get a chance. Okay, so there's 4 things we want to talk about today, and the first one is about building your brand. Now, when I talk about building your brand, you want to talk about what do you have? What are you capable of? And what makes you stand out from the rest of the competition? Now, you want to talk about what it is that you have that you can bring forward. My advice is for somebody who, let's say, is a stay-at-home parent or caregiver, and let's say you have a organized task list for everybody in the house. So whether it's homework or chores or anything like that, you have that mapped out. Now that shows me 3 things. 1, that you're motivated. 2, that you have time management. And of course, that you're organized. And those are transferable skills for any job, really, because those are very important skills to carry forward. So like we said, what are you capable of? So what you're capable of doesn't necessarily mean something that you already have. It's something that you can do because of the other skills that you have. So like the example we talked about with time management and being motivated, well, those are the things that you can talk about and why you can help this company. So take a look at their job description, and if something stands out to you from that, elaborate on it and say, these are the things that I can do based on the skills that I have. Now, another thing with building your personal brand is what makes you stand out and become a valuable asset to the company. So, you want to really stand out something that you've done that's going to make them want you on the team. I want to give you an example. So many years ago, I was working in a call center and I didn't have leadership experience, and I wanted to move into a management role. Now, I had looked at the job description and it was very specific about experience and things that, you've coached and you've hired and all of that kind of stuff. So what I did is I noticed that the company had a really great program with a very reputable university where they had courses that I could take. So on the days that I would finish early or I would stay late, I would work on these courses, and they were about leadership, time management, building a career, focused coaching, different things like that. Well, I ended up doing about 30 of these courses. Now, it did take me a little bit of time, but every time I finished one, I would print it off and put it in a folder because that's something that I can bring forward. Now, I'm not saying for everybody to do this, but this was something that I did at the time. So when it came to me applying for this position, that's something that I put forward that I was able to stand out. And I said, I had done all these courses. I've, done the research. I've tried to educate myself on what it is to become a leader. I just need somebody to give me that chance to show that. And I got that chance because I did the work and I wanted to get that experience somehow to get into that role. Okay, so the second thing is experience. Now, I know we said some people don't have any experience, and that's totally fine. But for those who have some experience and may have a gap in their experience, you want to highlight some of those things that you've done. So go through that job description and take a look to see what you've done in the past. Even if it's 5, 10, 15 years ago, you still have that experience. So you can still talk about that and just list it. So, if you have anything at all, definitely include it. It's not wasted. Okay, so the third thing would be talking about anything that's related to volunteer work, your education, if you've been on a sporting team, any of those types of things, extracurricular activities, you want to talk about those. So if you have a sporting background, you're on a lot of sports or one particular sport, what did you do and how were you a team member? You can talk about that stuff. That does relate to a job. It does not have to be a specific 9-to-5 job that you did. It could be at any spectrum. So whether you were on a sporting team, you did volunteer work, you were part of an event, you were part of your community involvement, anything like that. Well, what did you do? What kind of skills did you bring forward? Were you in a group setting? Were you a motivator? Do you have great communication skills? Do you have attention to detail? Have you worked with money? Have you done any of those types of things? Did you build something? Did you help orchestrate something of that nature? You can include all of that. That does not have to be something that you've put aside because you think it's not relevant. It absolutely is relevant. Another example is somebody who, let's say, is part of a team and part of a community, and they've dedicated a lot of time to helping their community out. They're doing food banks, they're doing volunteer work. Those are all amazing skills that you can include in your resume, and they will definitely stand out. I know when I'm reviewing a resume, I don't look just at the first 5 points. What does this person have? How many years have they done this? I mean, those are all great things, but I do dive deep and I give everybody a chance because I think that's important. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are recruiters and hiring managers that are like that. We just need whoever's on the other side to believe in their skills and to put that in their resume so that they don't miss out on a chance. So the last thing I want to talk about is qualifications. Do you have any certifications? Do you have any specific things that you have listed that you've done? Any training, anything like that that you have? Put them in there. A certificate you received at work, for example, you were a forklift driver. That's a certification. Let's say you were an electrician, or you did something with customer service, or you did project management, or you did lead Six Sigma in some of the project or business analyst jobs that you've done. Include all of those, even if those certifications come from that employer that you have and maybe you're going to another company. It doesn't matter, you did the work, that's with you. So keep those in your resume. Even if you're fresh out of school, what did you get your degree or your diploma in, and what kind of projects did you work on? Is there something that you did that stood out? I know in some of the marketing courses, they ask you to work with different companies and you work on different things. Those are all great things that you can include in your resume. Okay, so I just want to recap the 4 things that we talked about that really will make your resume stand out and give you that chance when you don't have any experience, or perhaps you have a gap in your experience. So number 1 is building your brand, and that's a big one. And number 2 is your experience, what you do have. Number 3 is your school or education, volunteer work, any of that information, your sports teams, put that in. And then number 4 is your qualifications. Any certifications or diplomas, degrees that you have, include that in there. I hope I've provided you guys with some great insight as to what you need to do to make your resume really stand out when you have no experience. I know that once you follow those 4 steps and you include and plug in all that great information from your past, you'll have that chance and you'll be able to get that job that you really want. So good luck. Please leave me a comment below. Let me know how it worked out, how you changed your resume for the better, and let me know what ideas and questions that you guys have for any upcoming videos. Please remember to subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.